Have you ever wondered what it would be like to brave the vast and unpredictable ocean on a solitary adventure? Picture a man, just like any other, yet with an insatiable thirst for adventure that sets him apart. This man, fueled by a desire to conquer the unknown, makes the daring decision to undertake a solo journey across the mighty ocean. Days turn into nights as he meticulously prepares for his journey. Maps are spread out on tables dotted with potential routes. Supplies are gathered and pared down to the essentials. His small boat becomes a second home, every inch of it familiar and prepared for the journey ahead. The anticipation builds in him, a mix of excitement and trepidation. He knows the ocean's unpredictability, but the call of the wild sea is too strong to resist. And with that, our man was ready to embark on his adventure, unaware of the challenges he was about to face. As the land disappeared behind him, our adventurer was met with his first challenge. No sooner had our intrepid explorer ventured into the vast expanse of the open ocean, than the skies began to darken, and the once placid sea turned into a tempestuous beast. The first major challenge had arrived, unheralded and uninvited, a storm of considerable size and ferocity. Now, a storm at sea is no minor inconvenience, it's a life-threatening event that can shatter dreams and end adventures. But our adventurer, far from being a novice, was a man of the sea, a man equipped with knowledge, experience, and an unflinching spirit. He knew the sea's temper, its whims and fancies, and he knew how to navigate through its darkest moods. His heart pounded in his chest as the waves grew higher, the wind howled louder, and the rain lashed harder. But he was ready. He relied on his navigation skills, charting a course that would keep the boat stable amidst the tempest. He used his knowledge of the sea, understanding its currents and tides to maintain control over his vessel. The storm, though formidable, was a test of his mettle, and he rose to the challenge. He fought back against the sea's fury, steering his boat with a steady hand and a steadfast resolve. He met each monstrous wave with courage, each gust of wind with determination. He was alone, against the might of the sea, against the wrath of the storm. But he was undeterred. His spirit, like the beacon of a lighthouse in the midst of a stormy night, remained unquenchable. It was a battle of wills, man against nature, and he was not about to give up. Hours passed, a timeless struggle against the storm. But as the first rays of dawn pierced the dark clouds, the tempest began to calm. The waves subsided, the wind quieted, and the storm, having spent its fury, retreated. With determination and resilience, he overcame the storm, but the ocean had more in store for him. As days turned into weeks, our adventurer faced an even bigger challenge, the test of endurance. Alone in the vast expanse of the ocean, our adventurer was locked in a battle, not just against the elements, but also against himself. His body was pushed to its limits, his muscles ached from the continuous rowing, and his skin bore the brunt of the relentless sun. Yet, it was not the physical challenges that were the most daunting. It was the mental battle that he waged against solitude and doubt that proved to be the real test. The ocean, in all its majestic beauty, was a constant reminder of his insignificance and isolation. There were days when he was engulfed by waves of loneliness, and nights when he was swallowed by the darkness of despair. Yet he held on. He held on to the thin thread of hope, the spark of adventure that had led him here. To keep his spirits high, he had a routine. He would rise with the sun, rowing to the rhythm of its radiant ascent. He would then pause, taking a moment to marvel at the vastness of the ocean and the grandeur of his journey. He would remind himself of his goal, the thrill of exploration, and the joy of discovery. He would talk to himself, his voice a comforting presence amidst the silence of the sea. He would recount tales of legendary adventurers, drawing strength from their stories. He would sing songs of the sea, his voice echoing against the waves, a reminder that he was here, he was alive, and he was on an adventure. His determination was unwavering, his spirit unbreakable. Every day, he would push himself a little bit more, rowing a little bit further, enduring a little bit longer. He was not just surviving, he was thriving. He was not just enduring, he was evolving. He was not just an adventurer, he was becoming a part of the adventure itself. His journey was far from over, but he was proving to be a true adventurer. Just when he thought he had faced all the ocean could throw at him, he was faced with his biggest challenge yet. The vessel, his trusted ally, began to falter. The motor stuttered and stalled, the once steady hum replaced by an ominous silence. He wasn't just confronting the wild waves and unpredictable weather anymore, but a mechanical failure that threatened to end his journey prematurely. Now, more than ever, He needed to tap into his reservoir of problem-solving skills. This wasn't just about physical strength or endurance, it was a test of his mental fortitude, his ability to think on his feet in a high-stakes situation. He approached the problem with the same determination he had shown throughout his journey. Every challenge was an opportunity, every setback a lesson to be learned. He dove into the engine, his hands smeared with grease and grime, his mind working overdrive. He remembered the countless hours spent tinkering with the vessel before setting off on this journey. The late nights spent understanding every bolt, every wire, every tiny part that played a role in the smooth functioning of his vessel. He had prepared for this, even if he hadn't known it then. The solution wasn't immediate, and it wasn't easy. It was a process of trial and error, of patience and perseverance, but he was relentless. He worked through the night, under the faint glow of his lantern, the stars his only companions. Slowly but surely, he began to understand the problem, to see a way out. And then, just as the first rays of the morning sun began to peek over the horizon, he heard it. The sweet familiar hum of the engine, the steady rhythm that had been his constant companion. He had done it. He had repaired his vessel, overcoming the greatest challenge he had faced. With his vessel back in action, he was ready for the final stretch of his journey. After weeks of solitude, hardship, and relentless challenges, our adventurer finally saw what he had been longing for. The vast expanse of the ocean had been his constant companion, a formidable adversary, and an unyielding teacher. But now, the sight that met his eyes was the most beautiful he had ever seen. The waves that had once seemed so menacing now seemed to dance joyously around him, celebrating his triumph. The horizon, which had often seemed so distant and unattainable, was now within his grasp. And the sun, which had often seemed so harsh and unforgiving, was now bathing him in its warm golden light, as if to congratulate him on his achievement. In that moment he felt a surge of joy and satisfaction that was unlike anything he had ever experienced. It was a feeling of triumph, a feeling of accomplishment, a feeling of having conquered not just the ocean but also his own fears and doubts. He had taken on a challenge that many would have deemed impossible, and he had emerged victorious. But this victory was not just about reaching his destination. It was about the journey he had undertaken, the lessons he had learned, and the person he had become. It was about the strength he had found within himself, the resilience he had shown in the face of adversity, and the courage he had shown in the face of fear. It was about the power of determination, the power of perseverance, and the power of belief. As he stood there, with the ocean beneath him and the sky above him, he felt a sense of peace and contentment. He had set out on this adventure with a dream in his heart and a fire in his soul, and he had achieved what he had set out to do. He had faced the ocean's challenges, he had braved its storms, he had navigated its waters, and he had reached his destination. He had faced the ocean's challenges and emerged victorious. His journey was a testament to the power of courage and determination. As he looked back on his journey, our adventurer had much to reflect on. He walked on the path less traveled and braved the mighty ocean, a testament to his indomitable spirit and unwavering courage. Each wave that crashed against his little boat was a challenge he faced, a lesson he learned. The sea, in all its vastness, taught him humility and patience. He realized that the journey was not just about reaching a destination, but about embracing the unpredictability of the ocean. It was about understanding his own strengths and, more importantly, his weaknesses. It was about resilience, perseverance, and the will to keep moving forward, even when the odds were stacked against him. The adventure had changed him, molded him into a stronger, more resilient individual. It was not just about the miles he had traveled, but the person he had become during the journey. His journey was not just about reaching a destination, but about the adventure itself and the person he became along the way.